MiRae is finally standing up for herself, at her own pace, in our Unwritten Seoul. Who else noticed that, just like MiJi in the past, MiRae is missing? The most hilarious scene was MiRae telling MiJi to hit the annoying SangYeong more, that no one was coming. MiRae's era is here, and her coworkers are about to see a different side of her. But then, I must say she was frustrating in the last episode. I mean, how could she barge back and reclaim her life, after asking MiJi for more time, and leaving her twin, who upended her life to give her relief, in self-doubt and low self-esteem? Understandably, like most people, she doesn't want to fight, as she deems it futile. Sometimes, fighting for what's right and just can be daunting, even for the bravest. And when it comes to MiRae, she just doesn't have the strength, and is already traumatized by the little she did. But her hesitation and lack of appreciation for what MiJi did for her weren't pleasing. Meanwhile, who would have thought that the corruption would go so high? The CEO is also involved, which could explain MiRae's hesitation at first. What's more, MiJi and Soo had their little cute moment. This was so well done, befitting the characters' personalities. MiJi overthought and thought out loud while kissing, and Soo didn't dash it, but took the time to reassure her, by letting her express herself and being vulnerable himself. They are a perfect match. What's more, Chungu is really something. Sometimes I think he's not as bad as the writer wants us to believe, for now, as his advice to Soo sometimes seemed sound, and he'll have an arc at the end. This could be why, despite everything, Soo still stood up for him. However, sometimes he's like the stuff nightmares are made of. I mean, how could he suggest that someone close to Rosa was releasing details about her? This could also be a misunderstanding. Maybe he meant someone else, but Rosa just assumed it was MiJi, since she had just shared the news about her son only with her. If you recall, she wanted to confide in Soo, but after this same Chungu's visit, and her learning they once worked together, she chose to trust MiJi instead. However, I feel for MiJi, who is innocent but is being misunderstood. Rosa didn't have to smash her gift. Unfortunately, her secret is about to make the news. Chungu is pulling all his dirty tricks to win. Now that he knows the CEO is involved and his firm could be affected, he's not holding back. Meanwhile, poor Hui. When MiRae went back home as MiJi, she just assumed something was going on with her. MiJi is known as Candy because of her jovial nature. So when MiRae, as MiJi, started exhibiting her personality, Hui took it to mean that she was reverting to her trauma days. This is why she sought counseling for her from Bunhong. However, when MiJi returned as herself, she finally realized that the twins had switched. This is because she could finally see the old jovial MiJi. There's no way that her daughter, whom she had thought was depressed, would suddenly return perfectly fine like her old self. It's sad that she can't tell her daughters apart, but this is because she was away from home during their growing days, trying to make a living for them. However, it's been years since her husband died, and her mother was hospitalized. You would think that she'd somehow figure it out by now. Meanwhile, as suspected, Soohyun is holed up at home, just like MiJi did years ago. Tae decided to help MiJi, after hearing her story about locking herself up for years, because she couldn't face the world, as it's also the case with his sister. Soohyun feels bad for leaving MiRae behind, after MiRae stood up for her. Seeing her must have influenced MiRae's decision to finally stand up for herself. MiJi is the best. She tends to put others first. Despite MiRae's actions towards her, she never let it define their relationship, or let people's comparisons of them get to her. MiRae cracked her newfound little confidence with her words, and Rosa's words and actions finally shattered it. She didn't know what to do with herself after being MiRae. And she couldn't bring herself to leave her mother and grandmother alone in Daesanri. Her mother assuring her, and asking her to do and go wherever she wants, finally set her free. This was how she was able to walk up to SangYeong, harassing MiRae in time to give him a well-deserved beating. It seems MiRae is now home to SangYeong. One glance at MiJi and he could tell she wasn't MiRae. He finally left for Seoul to find her. However, it looks like instead of seeking her out, knowing where she works, he decided to try to run into her in Seoul. If you recall, he imagined how it would be, had they casually run into each other in Seoul. This could mark the beginning of something new for them, as he asks her to go with him, as they are almost late. What's more, MiRae is looking lighter as she faces her oppressors head-on. From the look of it, it seems SangYeong will finally get what he deserves, as he can be seen with his personal effects in a box in the preview, bidding farewell to his enablers. I can't wait to see MiRae's scoff. What's more, with news about Rosa's identity theft out in the open, her restaurant is targeted. MiJi and Soo accidentally learn about her plight while exploring their career path, and go to check on her. Soo is unsure if he wants to work for a firm that sees him as disabled, who'd fight for the weak. It didn't help that they wanted to hire him for their public image, and to win over Chungu. MiJi finally tracks down Rosa and offers her full support. Hopefully, Rosa will apologize for how bluntly she cut her off. At this point, this could lead to a confrontation between Soo and his former boss. Who else can hardly wait for MiRae and SangYeong's dating era? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell for all things wonderfully K-drama. Thanks for watching, bye.